Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm continuing my 30 Days of Night review with part 2. 30 Days of Night, Dark Days. This was released in 2010, I believe, and is a direct sequel to the original that was released in 2007. Now, I have never seen this sequel before in my life. This was a first time watch for me. So let's get into it. So this movie stars Kiel Sanchez and Mia Kirshner and is directed by Ben Kentai. Kentai? Sorry for the pronunciation there. I'm just not sure how you say these people's names. So let's get right into the basic plot of this movie. So this movie is basically about Stella, the survivor from the first movie. She is trying to go around and warn everybody about these vampires, but nobody believes her. They all just think that the town of Barrow was destroyed by a fire that was at the end of the last movie. And they think that just wiped out everybody in the town, which is kind of ridiculous. But especially her being the only survivor. So she's going around to these meetings that she's putting on and trying to let people know that there's vampires around. And no one believes her, obviously. Eventually, she is joined by a group of vampire hunters who want her to join their crew since she is a survivor and she knows what they're like. She dealt with them before. So and they plan on going to take out the head one, and hopefully by taking out the head vamp, the queen or whatever, it will end all these. It will essentially, they're all connected to her. And they will all essentially die or whatever. That's what I gather from this film. Anyway, that's your basic plot. So right off the bat, one thing I really enjoyed about this movie is that they try to make a continuation from the last. There's too many sequels out there that just do their own thing and really are only using the name of the first movie. Like, they want to use the franchise just to get popular, and it's like a cash grab half the time. This one isn't so much the case. It is a direct sequel, which was nice. What I didn't care for was how they switched out the main actress. It was Melissa George in the first one, and they went with a different girl for this particular film, and she doesn't really look too much like her, and her personality traits in that are quite different, which really affected the way I viewed the film. It just bothered me a bit. Sometimes it doesn't bother me, but this time, like, I'm a big fan of Melissa George, so it did hurt. Especially, like I said, I'm a huge fan of Triangle, and she's the main in that. I also like the idea that there is a head vamp out there, and if you take her out, they're all gone. The only thing I didn't like about it was the location. They're trying to say that under every big city, that in like the sewers and these underground tunnels, basically, that that's where the vamps live. And I'm like, come on. As if no one knows about them and they're under like every city in these tunnels. It's just ridiculous to me. I really wish they would have found this other land, like have to take a ship and go somewhere to find them. Because that's basically what I thought was going to happen. Because in the first movie they show up on a ship. So, I don't know. I was looking for more something like that. Even though we do get a ship in this movie, but it's just not what I wanted, really. They do keep it bloody and pretty gory in this movie, which I appreciate it too. Because, you know, the first film was pretty damn brutal. And this one doesn't really shy away from that either. Now, that's basically all my positives for this film. Now, starting off with the negatives. The recasting. Didn't like that at all. I don't like how the vampires are, like I said, in like every city underground and that. That's, to me, that ruins it for me, because you don't know about them because they were gone on the ship and only came so many centuries later, so people would forget about them. Having them underground, like in these tunnels under the cities, kind of defeats all that mythology for me anyway. It just kind of ruins it. The effects in this movie aren't that great either, although there is some decent gore in that, but a lot of times they have to throw in the CGI on top of it and that, and it kind of ruins it. But this is not a big budget film either. This didn't get a theatrical release, so that's kind of what I expected. Another thing that really went down in quality was the style and the atmosphere. The first movie was tension-filled. It had the beautiful snow setting and the blood on the snow. The visuals were nice. Everything about it was cool. Even the vamps, they had like a style to them. This movie, none of the vampires are memorable at all, except for maybe the queen, Lilith, I think her name is. Lilith. I just checked. But even her, she doesn't get much screen time. We don't really know much about her, and the final battle with her is pretty damn lame, if you ask me, which pretty much summarizes this whole movie as it's lame. So this movie just didn't do it for me, guys. But on a side note, I thought that this was going to be complete trash. I thought it was going to be way worse, to be honest. While it was worth a watch, I'm glad I did watch it. It wasn't that great, though. I have to admit, it was pretty low budget, pretty mediocre in all aspects, and a lame ending. The main character wasn't as I don't want to say charming, but she just wasn't as interesting as the girl in the first movie. And just calling this movie 30 Days of Night, you expect it to be like another situation like that. We don't get 30 Days of Night at all in this movie. We're not even in Alaska anymore. We're in LA, so while I don't think that this is necessarily a cash grab because they didn't really make any money off this, at the same time, I think they could have made a way better film here. I would have liked them to go back to Alaska, or at least go to Alaska and then take a boat and try to find out where their land is. Or I know they could have been maybe even living on that ship, but where was the ship before? Like, there's a lot of questions to be answered, and a lot of things that could have changed that would have probably brought up my score. So as for my rating, I'm going to give 30 Days a Night Dark Days from 2010 a 4 out of 10. It wasn't great. It wasn't the worst thing I've seen. It was definitely watchable, but I'd probably never watch it again. But I am glad I did watch it. I'm a big fan of the first film, so I just don't like the way where they took things, don't like how they changed mythology, and yeah, I didn't really care for the film, if I'm being honest. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on 30 Days a Night Dark Days, the sequel to the original. It came out in 2010. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie. Have you seen it? Did it live up to your expectations, or were you completely pissed off at it? Let me know down below in the comments. And I hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks for watching.